Ride along live worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride, sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease.
Experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Time to do better. Beacon's Be Better Group Health Plan now offers new and improved options that make health insurance affordable for small to medium businesses. Good medical cover gives you a competitive edge and takes care of the people that take care of your business. Get a better plan to build a better business. Call Beacon or log on to beacon.co.tt for more info today.
Yeah! Ride along live. Welcome to the ride. Yo! How you guys doing? Welcome to the ride. Welcome to the ride. Yes! And yes, to answer some of your guys' questions. If somebody saw me today, you still in Grenada? Yes, I am still here. All right? And all of you guys who are having issues, it's too cold, the breeze blowing too much, all of that problems all you're having, well, guess what? I don't have that problems here. I don't have that problems here. We have problems with flooding though, but sun is hot and it's great. Went to the beach today, you know. I do have some other problems that you guys are having because a lot of you guys scratching on your head. A lot of people wondering about what they could do after January 20th. Eh? We have a whole program dedicated to that, guys. But anyway, today is an interesting and important program. So I want everybody to come in and share up the thing. Jennifer Myers, how are you? Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, thank you. Jillian McIntyre, how are you? So I want you guys to do, because today we're going to have a conversation with Honorable Ron Redhead. Now, there have been so much circulated in media, and it seems like Minister Redhead has been on the forefront of a lot of people. So, you know, when that happens, then you have to come in on the hot seat, because there are clarifications. In addition, guys, there have been so much flooding in Grenada for the past couple weeks. I want to know what steps have been done and what has been done up to this point to mitigate against all these flooding. What happened? We even had a situation where a teacher died because of flood. So we have a lot to speak about. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So everybody share the thing. And at followers, let me do it as well. I mean, at followers. When you add followers, all your friends, all your family members, everybody get a chance to see that you share. All right, so add followers. We do it here as well. Yeah. Sharing is caring. Lucille, how you doing, Lucille? You good? Let me add followers here as well. And tag somebody you ain't tagging a long time, by the way. They'll appreciate it. Yes. Okay, guys. So let's go into it. Let's go into it. A lot of you guys, whether you live in Grenada, North America, or Mexico, or Trinidad, wherever, you've been paying attention to what's happening in the Eastern Caribbean here. Now, last week, I must say that we saw flooding here in Grenada that I've never seen before. And like that, a lot of people, much older than me, have never seen before in their lifetime, right? It is something that it seems like it was once in a lifetime type of rain. I specifically got caught in, I was in Grenada, and the rain was coming down so hard, right? And in such a short space of time, I had to pull over because we passed an area where it started to flood and a lot of water. So I just pulled over for a bit. And after I pulled over for a good 5-10 minutes, when I looked, the car, the water was like all the way up to the tires. So I had to move. The rain subsided a bit and I had to move. But when I got a chance to see the devastation in the River Road area, man, let me tell you something. I've never seen River Road so bad. Now higher up, going up to Boca, even in all the arteries, the roads in that area there, where my guess is an MP for, we had a lot of landslide. A lot of people was affected. So we want to understand and know what's happening there. Now yesterday, we had reports that we would have seen another major flooding event, landslide again. However, it didn't hit this part of the island, the south of the island, too bad, but we did see tremendous flooding in places like Grenville. In particular, there was a soccer match at the Victoria Park that was flooded out, and Grenville was a mess. Grenville is prone to flooding anyway, but it was a real mess yesterday in Grenville. However, the southern part of the island didn't get hit that bad, right? So joining us to first talk about the rain incident and all the flooding and the land slippage and everything that's happening there is MP Ron Redhead. Let me see, bring in the MP right here.
Yes, Junior. Good
Ron
night.
Redhead, how are you doing, sir?
Well, just busy. I'm at a branch meeting actually, and I am taking the time out to make sure that we could speak to your listeners and viewers all over the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know that you're busy
Yeah,
and you committed your time as much as you can because this is important. People
yeah.
in your district, people outside of your district and in Grenada want to know and understand. First, let's talk about this major landslide flooding area in your district, your area, and Grenada in particular. Tell us about the event itself and how devastated was some of the areas in communities in your area affected.
Right. Well, first off, I would like to start off by empathizing with the family members of the loved one who lost her life tragically in the Woburn area. Certainly on behalf of Acting Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for South St. George, now that we're on a program to address the issue, I want to do so and say that as a government, we continue to empathize with family members who lost loved ones. Please ask for loved ones to be cautious in their approach, especially in dealing with floods. Virginia, in particular, this is something that we did not expect, and I don't know of anyone who woke up that morning and was expecting that amount of rain. Even the Met Office could not categorically say that we would be receiving record rainfall. And as such, it did create a condition and situation throughout the country which we experienced, and some of the lingering effects. A few days before, rain did fall, and so the ground being oversaturated, and the amount of rain for a short space of time, record numbers, it allowed for that situation to unfold. But so far, we have been reeling from the effects, and it was a lot. I could tell you St. David, St. George Northeast were the two constituencies heavily impacted during that episode of the extreme rainfall last week. And of course, the Grenville area only Sunday got its fair share of flooding, Victoria Park. I think Wagiti was having something of their football, and it got flooded out. But generally, the response has been effective. I must commend the Ministry of Works in particular, the acting Prime Minister, Honorable Andy Williams, and team at the Ministry of Works. They've been doing a pretty good job to stabilize the situation. I think the concern for many was that after the heavy rainfalls, what happens next? But it
Yeah.
opens up the conversation, Junior, about a lot of things throughout the country. Specifically, it opens up the conversation about building codes, building standards. Similar to Karakou, in terms of how the roofs were damaged post Hurricane Beryl, have a
Right.
situation where a lot of building construction is taking place, but the bigger picture, in terms of the community, in terms of its safety, that is not being managed specifically. So, for example, when you look at the amount of runoff that is taking place now, it's
Yeah.
more than it has been in a long time. And in addition to that, the element of the size of drains, the element of, uh, let's say, other factors, such as the large amounts of debris with trees, when the slides and so on occur, or with floods, it blocks and so on. And I'll give you an example. In Tempe, for
Mm.
example, we were
Yes.
only able to learn right by call gas station that after Hurricane Beryl, debris went beneath the storm drain beneath the road, right? And it was not cleared. So it contributed essentially to the flooding that took place there with the record rainfall that occurred because it was not cleared in that sense. But
Mm.
right? So it's something, it was an oversight, quite frankly. All the other areas were cleared, but that specific area was not cleared. Whether or not it is something that is lodged beneath the drain, we would certainly see, and the Ministry of Works is on top of it. That project only today was being cleared up, and we have to revisit the scope to ensure, for example, that the storm drain itself is wide enough and that it caters for the massive amount of water that is coming from the ravine area. And so that has been a very important lesson, not just for me as a member of parliament, but certainly the government of Grenada, i.e., the Ministry of Work. Because it means, therefore, when we do projects, we need to ensure that it is actually alleviating flooding concern and mitigating the risk of deadly flooding, which occurred last week. Side of that, Junior, we are very concerned with the Monkuma area and community.
Yes.
In fact, following the heavy rainfall, the zone itself is a bit unstable, and we have seen somewhat of a subduction of the soil over at the highest point with the cliff itself. That has since moved somewhat. We have seen additional slides there, but the main area of concern, that area has been subdued slightly. We do have some concerns in the Monkpanasas area as well. Only today we looked at a road that is showing signs of totally sliding away from the road and going down the floodplain. There were slides
Um,
that
I don't know if you could hear me,
yes, I
but
can.
probably a call came in and cut your audio off, something like that.
Okay, so you hear me now? Sorry about that. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Okay. Reconnect and connect back in because it's giving a bit of an echo. Guys, we're chatting here with Honorable Ron Redhead, and we're speaking about the flood situation in his community and the after effect, especially the Monkuma Road area because even being in Grenada and trying to pass that area, I noticed that it's still blocked. And one of the things that is important to note and to understand is that the okay, let me see. Hold on, let me see if I can get him back in here. All right, are you
Yeah,
hearing me?
yeah, yeah, Junior, I'm hearing you, but I do apologize because a call was coming in to be exact. I do
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah,
Right,
yeah. You were saying about the Monkuma area.
right. So it's a bit unstable. We are
Okay. All right. Are
is
you hearing me?
also yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
But as you could well
Okay. Yeah.
imagine, right, I'm
Yeah.
hearing
Go
you
ahead.
now. Yeah. So I was saying
Yes.
that
All right.
it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
bit
go ahead.
unstable. I'm getting a direct call. Unfortunately, I do apologize. Yeah. So
Yeah. No problem.
the area is a bit unstable. We also have some concern in Montparnasse. And only today, in picking up my son at Riverview Primary School, the principal was able to show me somewhat of a break. Sorry, in the in the on the side of the school in terms of the soil. That's the overhanging 19, not 1910, but overhanging the junction with Tempe and River Road. So
Right.
we are very much concerned, Junior, with what has happened. It speaks a lot to the lack thereof of proper planning over the many years. And I'm not just talking about the 2.5 years that the government has, this administration has been in power, but before that. So the need for us now to revisit building code standards when it comes to flood mitigation is critical and important. Now, the St. John's River should be, I stand to be corrected, but should be the largest river in Grenada
Mm-hmm.
in terms of its span. And I heard from seniors today, in particular, that this is the first time they have seen the river so aggressive. The speed at which the water was running. That's the first time they've ever seen that, and the destruction that it caused. Now, some people argue, for example, removing the boulders in the river is actually contributing to that bullet-like speed that the water runs off with, and we need to replace them, put them back into the river so that it can naturally position big stone, all these other things to be stumbling blocks, so to speak, for the water itself when it's coming down. Now that is arguable, and as people would say, leave this up to the experts to determine. But by and large, Junior, there was significant damage to property, there was significant damage to business, and we saw the unfortunate incident of the loss of life from that young teacher who was traveling to go to her children, pick up her children from over. So again, government of Grenada, as member of parliament and on behalf of member of parliament for South, we sympathize, empathize with the family for the loss of their loved one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about the Monkuma Road, right?
Yes.
Because an area of concern for me has always been driving around the Monkuma Road is
Mhm.
what's above there, boy? What is above your head on top of there? Because knowing what happened, you know,
Yeah.
years ago, I mean, it's always a fear every time I drive there. Was proper assessment done in that particular area there? Because now we see that the road is still, you can't even pass there, it's still blocked.
Yeah. Yeah. So the simple answer is the work itself was somewhat rushed, especially when it came to the slope itself. Now, the government, this present administration, has at least discussed in principle the need for the slippage, tying up the cliff itself to prevent further slippages from occurring.
Right.
As you could well imagine, that would not happen right away. It wouldn't happen. And then you would have to put these projects through, it goes through all the bidding process, etc., etc. And you could well imagine that it will cost something. Now, the challenge is that while this did not, in the past the situation occurred, but while this did not occur at that magnitude, is we cannot predict how soon this entire thing will come crumbling down, right? And we are not trying to create hysteria out of it, but as the good old saying say, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. As
Right.
it relates to it now, the road itself is stable. It is just the cliff that is the major concern, and the houses at the top there. So the Cobb family and other neighbors and so on will have to be concerned with the movement of the soil. And so, as member of parliament, I am very concerned with it because it poses a significant threat to damage property, cause unfortunate incidents to occur if, in fact, it does occur. And so we have to be very mindful of that. We are also prone to tremors or earthquakes. And so the rainfall is not only time to be concerned. We also have Kikem Jenny as part of our own disaster preparedness, awareness, hazards, and so on that are looming out there. So, that area is very much concerning, and we must always seek to, going forward, do the right thing when it comes to things like that. So, when people call, for example, or when constituents call, for example, for major development, these things need time. You need to do the EIA, you need to do the assessments, you need to determine whether or not in future, even if you fix this drain up this road, whether or not it will contribute to some damage or disaster lower down. So it's a lot for us to take in, maybe you would say all at once, but we are committed as government. Certainly, as member of parliament, we've been out, traveled or traversed the prime minister's constituency in his absence for now. But he's also abroad at COP and the Minister for Climate Resilience, making the point and case to say that we need some resources to deal with this impact. Because this first time rain has fallen at that magnitude, and it's a major concern, not just for Grenada, but the entire Caribbean, that we are still very much susceptible to risks like that, even outside of the peak of the hurricane season.
Yeah. Yeah. What about, and I know this is not specifically in your constituency, but
Mhm.
the River Road and that construction that was done there on the River Road project. A lot of people are, well, there are mixed reviews from what I'm hearing on the
Right,
road, on the street.
right.
People are saying yes, if it wasn't for the construction of those walls, it could have been far worse. A lot of
Mhm.
people are saying that it just did not work. Did the project prevent anything, or and also when looking at it, shouldn't it be extended and expanded all the way probably up to the gap where it turned to Mongay, because the river is all the way up there, to prevent any kind of situation like that? Because it seemed like the river just brushed aside, came onto the street and flooded the whole road,
Yeah,
regardless of if that wall was there or not. Was
correct.
proper planning put into that?
Well, so you see, that's the question. But that aside, the project did happen. It was started, and this administration has to continue and, in this sense, complete the project, particularly with the area with the humpback bridge where that
Yeah.
is located. So, it goes back to the point that we are making, that planning ought to be done properly before we start construction. And most times, or in most cases, the total opposite occurs. Now, take for example, the River Road area was extremely prone to major flooding. And the
Right.
history of this project dates far back as the NDC 2008 government, when they engaged in the process to get this project up and running. In fact, um, had it not been for the election in 2013, the NDC government, if it had won, or whether or not, well, if an election was not called, been able to start that project, and I believe in the right way, because they did the road from by Tempe Junction there, Dollar Savers, from by Dollar Savers, go back down to River Road, which was one of the best projects, and there was an enhancement at the base at the river, start there, right in the junction. So the
Right.
point is that had we engaged in proper planning, this would not have occurred. And specific to that project, Honorable Prime Minister made the point that the bridge, for example, we had to renegotiate that because the original cost just to do that same kind of thing was too exorbitant to the point where we probably could have get 2.5 bridges in River Road for the money that was originally proposed by the former administration. And so there were some concerns there. But the issue is not that we did not finish the project, because as you rightfully said, the flood has now gotten worse to the point where even higher up,
Yeah.
where the wall does not exist, the water seems to be breaching that area as well. And so the question of the planning is always something that we are concerned with and is always something that we will continue to pursue. The challenge for us is that whether or not we should just finish this and do the planning for what the project should entail, and if it entails having to break down a particular area, that kind of thing, and then repairing it and so on. You know, concrete cannot join. So you always have to factor those things in. So we
Right.
want that when we complete the project, that that issue that is occurring now, even higher up where the walls are together, it does not continue because it breached the wall to go over the steel auto
Yeah.
yeah, around that area as well. So it was higher than the bridge itself. And again, this is the first time that we've seen that amount of water in that general location. So, notwithstanding that, it is not a time for us to engage in hysteria. It is not a time to engage in misinformation because the challenge with disaster management and response is a lot of fake news, a lot of misinformation could contribute to people just starting to do their own thing. And I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
We had a situation where we did a little assessment with a team with a particular area to mitigate against some flooding. The homeowner went and they did their own thing. And then now they realized that it caused more problems because after this rainfall episode, they came back to me asking for help to not just complete, but now fix the problem. Now, after you go and spend that money and you did what you did, you realize you created an additional problem. And so sometimes what it takes for us is the question to sit, plan, and negotiate. And sometimes that takes time, certainly more than 2 years to really plan out the infrastructure for mitigating against flood and so on at the magnitude that we saw there. So, Junior, the concern is for us from the government standpoint, how much of the planning that we can do within, let's say, the next year or so to be able to mitigate in future if this were to occur very soon. Next year is another hurricane season, right? We don't know what will occur, and we can't predict the future in that manner. And therefore, what we have to do for it is plan ahead. And we need to be innovative. We need to be critical in our thinking, just to try and understand how best do we apply certain solutions and methods to the situation that we face. But certainly, engineers, certainly the hiring of the Cuban engineers is going to assist us in ensuring that we are doing the right thing. I think Molineux Road is an example of how we would approach things. Some people said that the project was ongoing and we should just continue and so on. And the Honorable Prime Minister again must be given credit for his vision and foresight in ensuring that we were not going to just do back the road or reconstruct the road in the same way, but we were going to look at the best possible option. And so today, for example, the best possible option was to drive some piles down and create a bridge. So what we are actually driving on in the area is a bridge that is almost suspended above the road, separated with concrete, and there is space for air to flow. So the
Right.
area beneath there would not remain damp and loose as a topsoil, but would be much more enhanced. And driving pile is not a simple feat. It is something that is professional. It is something that is internationally recognized. And we are confident as government that the best techniques were used there to mitigate against future slides. Now, again, the issue with the previous arrangement was almost to do over the same thing and smooth out the road almost the same. That would have been a travesty because today, with that rainfall that occurred, or even the breakage of the Nawasa pipe that occurred, this could have been detrimental to that entire project. And
Yeah.
because of the review that this administration did, this was able to get the best possible solution out of the original arrangement. And so we are satisfied that we are on the right track as government. We do not have all the answers, and therefore, this is why we need the technocrats, all technical people, the professionals, to be involved in planning for our future because that is what is required. As it relates to flooding, I can tell you nobody is going to be able to prevent the flooding. It doesn't matter how much drains you clean and so on. The problem with flooding is that you have extreme water runoff that occurs, and the capacity of the drain to channel the water into the right location is always slim. Grenada is a very hilly terrain in terms of our topography. And therefore, you can't just say, well, you could just run everything down this way and run everything down that way. Granite is
Yeah,
a
because
classic
you
example.
did get the administration did get a press release from the opposition said that the new National
Mhm.
Party called on the government to take immediate action to address the persistent flooding affecting communities across the island. We urge the administration to mobilize massive island-wide brigade to clean the clogged drains and rivers that cause these recurring disasters.
Yeah. So that's the usual tactic to just try and blame the administration and try to use some talk about, the administration is not giving the poor and vulnerable jobs and to clean the drain. So that is why the drain block and all this kind of, old talk. Well, I would say, Junior, if the opposition is serious, this nonsense in terms of the release is not what we need right now. What we need right now is the truth. And they need to tell Grenada how much did they invest in planning for development. That's what we need. And, some of the shabby projects, and I could just cite my own constituency. When
Uh-huh.
we inherited St. George Northeast in terms of winning the election, etc., one of the first things that we looked at was the state of all the infrastructure, schools, medical stations, you name it. We did that, did the assessment. And
All right, we're having a bit of a challenge bringing in MP Ron Redhead. We work.
conclusion simply was that enough planning. Sorry, yeah, I seem to have lost you there. Again, I do apologize for my
Yeah, yeah. I see your
right.
internet
So
dipped a little bit there.
right. So I
So
do
you have to
apologize
go
again.
ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
out in the field. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the conclusion simply was that we didn't plan enough. And I can tell you from Northeast standpoint, that's one of the reasons why we are engaged in a prolonged flood mitigation program. So when we do projects, we are not just doing it for the sake of it or we're looking for votes, but it must make sense to mitigate. And in some cases, we have to do higher up before we come lower down. So this is one of the major concerns that I have personally in St. George Northeast in terms of the lack of planning. So you are given a constituency, everybody wants a drain in front of the gap, etc., etc. But the question is, where's the water going to flow when we construct this drain? And that is always the important question that we have to answer, or rather, how is the water going to flow when we construct this drain? And so this is what we are thinking of. So I want to encourage residents and constituents of Northeast, for example, or in particular, to please be patient with us whenever we come to do the assessments, when we look at projects, when you send us the information, because it is not a case where we just can do. What we are looking to do is to mitigate against future flooding and to do it in a manner that is not going to fix your problem but affect the neighbors down the road. So you have to work with us. I think this is the best way to describe how the government functions. We meet you, you tell us the concerns, we attempt to solve the problem, but do it in the best possible way. And it takes time. So again, we are not too worried about, you know, again, going back to the release, this is not about electioneering and trying to tell people, well, hire John Brown because the drain blocked, and that is why all this flooding taking place. That is not the reason, right? We are dealing with the issue of climate change, for example. That is a major concern. And I'm not hearing the opposition talking about that enough or tackling it. And not just climate change, but there are other concerns, the deterioration. Look at the Carolinas, for example, right? The high tide that we are experiencing. That's not a result of block drains. That's not a result of block drains. So there are ways in which things do occur. I'm not saying that in isolated cases. Again, I could give the Tempe example that if an area is blocked up, it cannot contribute to flooding. But rain volumes at that level and magnitude, whether it's blocked or unblocked, it's going to be a catastrophe. And so in this instance, we saw tremendous amount of rainfall, historical, and what we need to do is to plan ahead. How do we mitigate against that amount in future? So, for example, at the St. John River, what should have been pursued, in my humble opinion, and certainly I could give the recommendation to government, is that we need warning siren in that area. So once the river reaches a particular level within a particular period, no vehicles should have been coming through that that road from coming up, sorry, from Iplep to come up um, to come through that area, right? The landslide. Again, we should have, let us say, a video camera with the traffic department, who then themselves could be able to see what is taking place. They could be able to deploy the necessary officers to be able to divert traffic almost immediately, that kind of thing. So there's a difference between looking at a satellite image and
Right.
experiencing the conditions on the ground. So we need to equip ourselves with the capacity to be able to respond to the situation on the ground and not wait for the National Hurricane Center only or SIDEMA or somebody else, some international organization to tell us, well, Grenada is going to be under flood. But we need to develop the capacity locally to treat with it. So it speaks to a lot of deficits, but it also speaks to a lot of opportunities that we
Right.
can build the capacity to be able to treat with it. In this instance, one life was lost, unfortunately, but it's a lesson for us going forward, the things that we need to do and not do when we have floods. And there are flood prone areas that we could earmark, as I mentioned, place siren warning, place other things like video cam, because I'm certain in the urban area and we have uh, access to video there, they may have been able to deploy people a little faster, a search and rescue team. Grenada now has a helicopter, so you see the correlation between this whole question of medevac, search and rescue, and while it's predominantly for tourism purposes, but the arrangement is so nice that it could be utilized for that as well. So we are seizing opportunities, as mentioned, but we have to kind of plan the thing out and see where the
Right.
opportunities are, take it from there.
So with the River Road project, there's
Yeah.
a lot of talk now about government finishing that project, completing that project. Does finishing that project build from where it ended down by the stadium and going down, or does it mean that build from where it started and
Mhm.
go higher up back to Monge, that entrance there? What's the decision
Right.
in finishing that project?
Well, the project completion deals specific with the bridge, by the Humpback Bridge, there, the entrance to go to the stadium. So the completion deals specific around there and continue the construction of the wall. Unfortunately, there is nothing much left to finish other than that.
So there's nothing to finish from there. So the completion is meaning that from by the stadium to go further down.
Yes, just that to complete, which is retaining walls, which is the concern we had from day one. I think the only option is to increase the height of the bridge or something like that, to get it off from because so the original humpback design is important because we were able to avoid somewhat um the river when it would run. But as you see, Junior, and this is the question that we need to answer. Development took place at the edge of the river, so the channel is even narrow.
Right.
Stones were removed when this project was being done. Walls were built. Obviously, what you have there is almost like a big drain at that point from by steels go right back down to where it exits. The question we have to ask is finishing the project going to solve the problem of flooding? As mentioned, the water breached higher.
Yes.
Right. So again, is finishing the project going to solve the problem that we have? And
But
I
that's what
don't
I'm
want
saying.
to.
Does finishing the
Yeah.
project mean going starting from where it began and going up?
Right. So
That
the
would make
question
more
is
sense. That would make more
right.
sense.
Right. So good. The question is, you're identifying that as one of the challenges that we see now with the original completion of the project, original scope of the project. So the question is now, what are the additional elements that we need to add to this? And how do we go about it? Is it just finish down so and then we will just do here and then if we have to break after we will thing and so on? We can't go in that ill-disciplined manner. And this goes back to the point that I was making that it requires now for us to sit, plan out how we develop the infrastructure as it relates to mitigation against flood. Town of St. George is prone to flooding as well.
Yes.
So we have to, take those things into mind. Grenville is prone to flooding as well. We have to take those things into mind. And then the question, therefore, becomes when we finish this River Road project, what are some of the additional projects that we need to take on? So it can't just be a question of saying, well, we'll put $3 more million just to do things and so on without the. Mhm. Yeah,
Now go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. It was a
All
connection
right,
on my
sorry.
end. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah. So we can't do things, Junior, without proper planning. That's essentially the point that I want to make. So the River Road project, certainly the Ministry of Works is looking into ensuring that we review all elements of it. The Ministry of Works is also looking to review a number of other projects, again, as mentioned, including the one down at Teb that we are doing. Again, if we do all these drains, is that going to increase the amount of water flowing into the river? So whether or not we complete the project, would we not be creating a big swimming pool when time come and is the wall height falling up? All these questions we need to ask. It's good that we had this episode so that we could ask it right now before we complete whatever the previous scope was. So all I'm saying is, at this point, Junior, the government is almost in a review stage in terms of how the Ministry of Works look at our projects going forward. As mentioned, the Molyneux Road is one of the redesign, sorry, of the Molyneux Road is one of the transformative measures that we've taken since coming into office for one of the major projects. And you have the Willis Road that we have to complete. You have other areas. I could recall in St. David, for example, there's a road, I don't recall the exact name right now, but it's currently being constructed, and again, it was impacted by the heavy rainfall. So again, scopes have to be almost redesigned. You have to look at different elements, and this is not just a simple, well, just put up the wall and everything will be all right. Because mind you, when we finish with that wall there, the cemetery wall, we have to look at that as well. And so it's a lot, Junior, to do. Not certainly all at the same time because we can't do too much, otherwise, we won't get nothing done at the same time. You have to plan it out, you have to strategize, and you have to see what makes sense from what's not making sense.
Yeah. And also, and I've never seen it so bad, the stadium.
Mhm.
Stadium, the parking lot in the stadium was completely, I mean, cars had to be towed out of there.
Yes.
The 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 I mean, it was just a total mess. I've never seen it this bad. And I'm saying the wall, I don't know if the wall even had a negative effect to that point.
because the water
Because,
can't run off as right. So
yeah,
so that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. When people say, "Well, just build up the wall and everything will be all right," that's not the answer to the solution. And you raise a very important point because the stadium itself, my humble opinion, I think we need to revise how we get water out of the stadium because
uh,
government just spent good dollars to resurface the track. It got flooded out. I know the honorable minister arranged with MIT and the fire department to be able to clean the track. So that should have been done. Stand to be corrected. But these are some of the impacts that we are having. Government is currently working with the People's Republic of China to renovate the cricket stadium. And as
right,
such, the flooding did affect. As much as the flooding affected, however, the schedule is still on time to complete by March of 2025. And so all of these elements is what we have to look at when dealing with that project. It is not simply on one side versus the other side. It is the entire area and its vulnerability to the flooding. And so that's why I'm saying we need to do the proper planning. We need to do the proper assessment. We need to get the engineers. We need to get them to sit, look at the situation, plan it out, what is happening there, what are the solutions, and be able to present this to cabinet. And then certainly government will make the announcement as to the way forward. And so that is our approach. That is how we handled Molyneux. Keep making that example. So it's not to say that the solution may not be found and may not even be found quick, but it's to say that the solution cannot simply be finish the project. That's not the answer to the problem. That's not the answer.
right, right. Okay, we will shift gears a little bit because
Yeah,
I think a lot of assessment has to be done with
yeah,
that
yeah.
project.
Okay.
And me doing, I'm a layman in this whole thing. I'm not no kind
But
of,
same here. Same
and
here. I'm an engineer, so I can't
yeah,
comment too much on the future of the project itself.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's just go a little bit into, a bit of controversy that
Mhm.
sort of came up last week in a televised interview
Yeah.
where you made mention about the Integrity Commission as drama.
Mhm.
And the Integrity Commission basically asked that MPs
Mhm.
declare their assets, right? Why did you describe the process of declaring your asset to the Integrity Commission as drama? And can you
Right.
elaborate more on the specific challenges you face?
Yeah. Well, so it's not so much challenge. It's just to say that every year you have to file over the same set of things. You have to get the same set of documents. So if you have an insurance policy, you have to get that over. Property, you have to get that over. And providing them in some instances with brand new copies of that. Now, my thing is, I am not attacking the essence of the Integrity Commission, and I am not attacking anything. What I'm saying is that we probably need to revise the method and approach because I think if it is that I have new assets, I should be able to declare the new assets in addition to what I already have. So I cease to own an existing asset that I had originally, then I should have a form requesting to omit that I no longer own this is a new owner, etc., etc., just to show the progression. Because I am all for, first and foremost, the question of open and transparent means, right? The Integrity Commission knows this. I just described it rather in a joking manner, but if anyone is offended, certainly by what I described, do apologize. But again, a specific journalist just like to take the negatives out of all the positives that was raised at that specific televised interview. That particular journalist taking that just to put it up to make some case about I attacking this and I describe it as drama and so on. It's just a casual statement. And I am a very down to earth person. How I speak to you here, Junior, is
Right.
how I would conduct myself on any interview. And I'm saying that there are mean times for professionalism, but I live in the Caribbean. And as far as I know, I do not have to walk around as if I have a jacket and tie always and using a set of diplomatic languages and so on for every single thing. I am saying in this instance, what it merely was just to raise the concern of probably reforming how we do that. The other element that I'm concerned with is that my driver's license, for example, sometime in 22 or 23, was all over on social media. I didn't hear anybody raise any concern with that. I didn't hear anybody say, well, when this fake page and all them who saying that I go and buy a RAV4 in steel, I didn't hear anybody raise no concern with that, right? So I'm saying these are some of the reforms that if it takes place, we could then omit every time having these fresh documents having to be requested and people in different workplaces. One year you might do business with Sarah. Next year, I might do business with Jenny, and Jenny would go and take your information and send it out, kind of thing, because she working with a financial institution and she might be an operative of some political party or so. So that's the concern that I have. And again, I refuse to take any legal action with the releasing of my driver's license and all these other things. We just passed a law earlier on this year to talk about the element of people's private um, matters and how things are stored, etc.
Right.
But I am not one to focus on challenges and problems and complain. I think what we need to do is find a solution. And in my humble opinion, I think we need to reform how we do that. The other element is the strengthening of integrity commissions, maybe specific in the Caribbean, is somewhat so that it must go beyond just when you come into the public office and so on. My thing is, when I look at the US, for example, as an example, they know everybody business and they have the information. You can't hide. So if you just come from an election and you're raising campaign funds, that has to be declared. So we must go beyond just using the rhetoric and so on. So I'm saying this to say that I'm a bit concerned that a caller could call on a radio program and say to me that when a filing may thing and so on to the thing. Even before I had answered that question, and a well-known operative of the New National Party, right? He resides in the Saint John constituency. So I am saying these are some of the concerns that I have as it relates to the process. So this is why I believe when I did the original thing, keep that. If any of it changed from the next year,
Right.
even if you want to do it within the 5 year cycle, no problem. So it's just about make ensuring that we keep the transparency on assets, etc. I have no difficulty with that, and certainly will file. So let me just make this point that the timing to which I had to file was a bit difficult for me. I didn't get the documents because they had to send you a package. You had to pull it out. You had to get all the accompanying stuff and all these other things, and to be able to file within a specific time for a particular period. So I didn't get
Right.
it then. So I did request the extension. I was told that I have to send the email, and then they will get back to me. Now I'm still awaiting a response to know when is the next or revised date. But it's not to say that I'm making an issue out of it. The caller called on the program. He said what he said, and then I responded to it, almost like a joke to say, it's drama, but you do what you have to do. So that
Right.
kind of thing. But yeah, as I say, the journalists, particular journalists, like to blow things up and make it into some big story when it is not. But there are more important things that we need to discuss. This certainly is not one of them.
Right, right, right. Because some are saying, and I know you have to go is drive into this real quickly, that you're assuming or you purporting to say that the process of declaration is unnecessary or bothersome to public officials.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's just the manner. So, meaning to say that we need to make it easier to file so that it becomes almost a speedy, more current document. And you don't have to wait to file for a period. My recommendation is that if let's say I have to file for a period, I could assume an asset, sell off that asset, and don't declare that asset because it's within a particular period. So that's
Right.
even a loophole in the very set on legislation. So I think honestly we need to discuss it, but it's very relevant. I want to make this point that the Integrity Commission has its relevance. This is not to downplay it in any way, shape, form, but as with everything in life, I am not one to just sit quietly. If I see something and it is a concern or bother to me, I'm genuine enough to speak about it. Right? I'm a very independent minded person. And I think sometimes people get too offended easily. When people say all kind of nasty things about me, I just laugh about it. And so if I take on the same persona that some people who are talking about the professional and this and that on on thing, then nobody would want to engage me because I will just end up cussing everybody. So it's just to say, Junior, this is a non-issue, and rest assured that I have always signed since the days of serving in the Senate. This was never an issue. Learning of the process, learning how to do it, it was never an issue. In fact, I want to make this point that when I served in the Senate, I went to the Integrity Commission to ask them to look into the matter with cell phone gate with Mr. Sherlock and to look into the matter of marketing board, right? My underlying concern, and I went so even unknown to my political organization then, the National Democratic Congress, because this was a burning issue for people. And as a young senator, I took it upon my own self to go to them, to meet with them concerning the issue of marketing board and its corruption then. And so my record is very clear where that is concerned. I have none to hide. I don't pretend with anybody, and I tell you straight up. I mean, if you don't appreciate what I said or maybe how I said it, sometimes I would say honestly, some people are too sensitive. We can find time to go and spread all kind of rumor and lies on people, but we can't find time to openly talk about the truth. So this is something in our country that I think the hypocrisy, I think that we really need to eliminate as we go forward. If we really want to take off at the level and manner that we need to, we have to be straight up sometimes and talk the things how they should be spoken.
While we're on that note, it's important too that we address the question of campaign financing
Right,
because that is a big thing. You really need to know
right,
where the money coming from,
exactly.
especially in election time. So I think that if something have to be presented, I hope that we could start speaking about campaign financing because we would like to know that there
Mhm.
should be a cap on how
Right.
much an individual or individuals or company could
Mhm.
donate
Well,
to a
well,
particular.
well, even outside elections too, Junior, because we need to know who is funding the operation of political parties, because that will determine the stance and position that we will take maybe on critical or important issues. And I'll give you an example. Now, the issue of the $150,000, which was lodged in the NNP's bank account in the South, has never been addressed by the opposition in a direct way. Let me tell you what they did. And I have seen it in this attempt to try to paint me as someone who is not following rules, etc. Now, after they recognized the issue was front and center, placed out there by the Honorable Prime Minister, you know what they retreated to do, Junior? They retreated to say it's not true. And then they called for the cabinet conclusion. Now, Junior, the public must know that no minister, no um, prime minister can take a cabinet conclusion out to the public because we sign an oath of secrecy when we go to cabinet. Cabinet is sacrosanct and it's almost like a creature of its own. In other words, you know the good old saying, what stays in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So what
Right.
happens in the cabinet stays in the cabinet unless there's a request or a need for public information on a particular matter, right? But in order to deflect that, they start to call for the cabinet conclusion, knowing fully well that nobody can release no cabinet conclusion. So the question is, what we want to ask and find out, why did you take money like that on the heels? And mind you, the NNP will try and run. They're talking about this administration selling passports. Junior, we're doing a professional job now. Before, they used to engage in selling passports. And they cannot deny that because we have the evidence. Not because we ain't speaking about it means that it's not there. And so they need to be careful with the perception that they try to create there and their agents who go about trying to confuse the public and spread lies on different people, especially associated with this administration or anyone who openly challenges them. So we have some concerns, Junior, where that is, and what I say to that is that look, the reality is with campaign financing in the Caribbean, it's always a very secret venture because in some instances it can affect diplomatic relations going forward. Because if I know you get money from country X and we have diplomatic relations with country Y who's against country X, that can create some measure of conflict going forward. Let's say you win and you take money from country X and country Y now has to deal with you from a government standpoint. You know, not everybody is a professional in their diplomacy, and sometimes
Right.
it could rub people the wrong way. So I understand the need for the secrecy of the source. What I would say is that we need to know if the source is legitimate
Right.
or illegitimate. We
But
need to know that.
if that being the case there, why
Mhm.
haven't any FIU investigation? I don't know if the FIU is investigating it, but there have been no public report on
Mhm.
the FIU decision on that. So
Mhm.
the public is still left unaware as to the seriousness of this particular matter or this
Right.
alleged allegations.
Right. So yes, I can't comment on that specific matter, and I would not attempt to. But what I would say, Junior, when these things are raised, remember the act already was committed, and
Right.
so unless it is a case where taxpayers' dollars were involved, I could categorically make the statement to say there is no case to pursue. Similarly, with the shrimp farm, when I think it's 50 million or so went missing to be able to construct this project or get this project off the ground or whatever it was, um, our reach could only go so far. We were told that there would be an investigation, but I can tell you honestly, there will be no investigation because in some instances, men probably was just jumping up in mad money, and this is the danger of certain people holding political office. Because rather than they used to make this statement that some people are thief, but it is thief and give the people. But the reality is the people largely remain poor and vulnerable for a good portion of their tenure. But we saw some individuals became wealthy and rich. I'm not commenting on people's success. What I'm actually commenting on, and look, when I came in, I literally have almost the same set of things. The only thing I got was a new transport, right? Because they're gonna say all kind of thing about me already with some van and all these other things, which you know it doesn't put me out. But I'm just making the point to say that this is how we have to operate, and my life is an open book in that sense, right? Because it's important that people do not see you feel you arrive and you always think, I go in the same supermarket and shop. I go in the same barber shop and cut my hair. I go
Right.
in the same areas throughout the community. Ordinary. So nothing essentially has changed because I'm not out there trying to promote some way of life that is more makes me feel more than that I'm more than people. So all of these elements, Junior, is something that we really have to factor in. When it comes to campaigning and so on, and the time will come, I could guarantee you it's not now. So not because you see everybody jumping up in meeting all over the place means that we're in election mode, right? We are steady focused. The NDC, for example, has its convention planned in 2025, March of 2025 to be exact, and we would be seeing some wonderful things there, new leaders emerging, hopefully, and so on. That is where the focus is going to be for us, and building our country at the same time, ensuring that while we're in government, we could take care of the needs of the nation. Prime Minister gave an update on his trip to recently via one of his social media posts, and we are looking forward to when he returns for him to give the nation an update on things, where we are at, what we are doing in this regard. The rebuilding or reconstructing of Karakou and Petit Martinique is currently ongoing. Honorable
Yes.
Seven Andrews, he's been posting some of the stuff. In fact, my own housing program received a little note to say, well, in some instances, you want to wait on some of the materials because we want to prioritize Karakou and Petit Martinique in its rebuilding. So
Mhm.
even some of my constituents say, boy, I understand. No problem, take all your time, etc., etc. And so it's so nice and warming to hear that we are doing all of these things and we are making steady progress. So in Life Junior, I think that we just need to remain focused on the objectives and what we have to achieve and forget the noise in the market, not the sale of fish. I can give you another example. Recently, uh, the fish market in town, there was a news item on that. Give you another example to show how, in some instances, media do not profile good things. The grill was damaged for years, Junior. We ain't talking nothing, right? The government, Ministry of Agriculture, repaired the grill. It was done. No one came forward to say thanks, if at all publicly, as they did when the incident occurred. The lady who fell and damaged her foot, she was compensated by the ministry. I think they ensured that they paid her medical bill and so on to be able to do whatever was required, right? So that was done. I am saying these are good things, but we do not hear the media talking about. It's unfortunate that only when the negatives occur, we see the media. I'll give you another example because I know we're getting ready to wind down because I need to start back into my meeting.
Yes.
Um, in Northwest, I saw a news item with a house, someone calling for some assistance. Honorable Andy Williams, I think, visited the area over the weekend and should, make some progress in terms of assisting and so on. But I will tell you this straight. The Member of Parliament for St. George Northwest receives or should be receiving his monthly constituency allowance of $10,000. I am saying, instead of going around and cussing everybody in meeting and saying all kind of thing about doing helicopter and all this kind of story and so on, take the resources that this administration so kindly initiated, that you as opposition have, and go out and help people and stop pretending that there's no means and the government didn't care and so on because it's not true. Right? So take that and go out and help people because they have the resources and means now and they're not using it. And I'll give you a final example as we wind down, Junior. Now, to show the care. Now, when I look at um, former members of parliament and the way in which they were being buried after they served, it took this administration, who everyone was saying, just come, and them little boy and this and that and so on, come into office and to say that we need to specifically budget for state funeral, that every former member of parliament who passes is entitled to a state funeral, right? Not based on discretion and who we ain't like and who we ain't think. You can't be serving your country and your constituency for years. And then when you gone and you pass, you give up your time, you sacrifice time probably with your family, etc. When you pass, you can't get a decent burial. And your family have to come and beg politician, same politician that you were, they have to turn around and beg you to be able to get some resources to have a dignified funeral for the loved one. So we changed that. And we are not seeing color in this regard because from a human standpoint, you have to
Right.
look at how you treat people. The state cannot be building up itself, and then the very people that paved the way for that growth is not being treated right. It's not even being looked at. We don't have programs for them, etc. We can't do that. And again, I just want to commend the Ministry of Social Development for launching the card
Yes.
for the seed beneficiary. This is nice. It's revolutionary. It's going to go a long way. It's transformational. It's going to go a long way in ensuring that we do not just build out social safety net programs, but we enhance our ability to build out the structure for social security, right? There's a difference because safety net programs is somewhat ad hoc, but social
Right.
security is a concept that if you build it out right, whether people have challenges or not, they could be met. So we have work to do, Junior, and this administration has proven that it is down for the task, or rather up for the challenge. And notwithstanding 2.5 years have passed, we remain confident and committed in ensuring that we focus on building this country, no matter the amount of lies, no matter the amount of will talk and so on that's being made in certain quarters. We are focused on what needs to be achieved. And what I
Okay.
would say, Junior, going forward, I am encouraging you to have government officials on and also invite opposition officials on. Let us
Absolutely.
discuss let us discuss as we go forward this whole question of the hurricane barrel response. Is the government doing the best it can? What would the opposition have done different? Because we hear a lot of noise about people who have this and that. But when you listen to the opposition, I'm not hearing what they are offering to be able to fix or enhance people's lives. So they're not doing nothing in that regard. And we remain ever confident that what is required is to remain focused and to continue to build our people.
All right. All right. Absolutely. And I second that with you, with having the opposition and having more government officials on to speak about the projects and what they're doing.
Yes.
So I'm definitely for that. Thank you for your time, Minister. How is school? How is school going? Because I
Well,
know.
yes, it's going well. I am doing okay. I think probably the only challenge is meet the deadline. To be able to finish the assignments, follow up with classes, and so on. So sometimes it gets pretty hectic. And in this period where we had the heavy rainfall, I had to devote a lot of time towards ensuring that we could respond in a timely fashion, but also respond properly and adequately. But school is going very well, and I'm set to complete. I'll keep the date secret, and probably what I'll do, I'll use social media and make a post when the time comes nearer.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
looking, cause there's one gentleman, every time that man see me, no matter where, it
yeah,
could be public restroom, he cussing me and telling me, why you say Ran going to school and Ran don't going to no school? I say, I not the principal of the school, why you cussing me? I tell you, the man could meet me in a public restroom.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's
Everywhere
good.
the man
It's
see me,
it's good.
so I
It's
not the
good. It's good.
principal.
It's good that they're interested. And certainly I want to go ahead of myself and say thanks for the interest, and just continue to wish me well, and I'll complete by the grace of God.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And we'll keep in touch. And
Yeah,
listen, this is your home. Whatever information you want to get out to the public, of course, you could reach out to Ride Along Live. We appreciate you.
no problem. Junior,
Go ahead.
before
Yeah, go
before I
ahead.
go, yeah,
Uh-huh.
before I go, I just want to say Christmas is coming up, just in case I don't get to come back on the program before the year ends. And we are preparing for that. I know government officials are preparing to distribute the toys, in particular in Taku
Uh-huh.
and Tiki Matnik. We will be doing a little distribution up there, just to brighten up the time for the children. And I'm
Yes.
certain minister is already looking forward to that focus. Yes, we would have ham, so the people up in Karaku could rest assured that the MP is not joking when it comes to bringing the benefits. He will make sure that at least a few households could get to eat a little ham, and it would
MJV,
not be like Ivan. It would not be
shameless
like
plug.
Ivan, where we had
Shameless.
tuna and rice and so
Oh,
on. Yeah, as our
shameless.
Christmas dinner.
Shameless plug though. I want to
Yes.
donate some of the tuk tuks so that we could go around and give out toys as well. I
Oh,
would love to
nice,
have
man.
I would love to
Nice.
have it used for that purpose, to have toys giveaway where we could have
Yeah.
the kids come up and we, give them a ride and give them some toys. So I definitely
That's
would
very nice
endorse
to hear.
and be a part of that.
Very nice to hear, Junior.
So, yeah, man.
Very nice to hear, Junior. Thank you.
So thanks again. We'll keep in touch, all right?
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so we're chatting there with the MP, former MP of Sports and Culture, Honorable Ron Redhead. A lot of information, guys. Sometimes you just have to hear it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to hear it from the MPs themselves because there's so much things that circulate from time to time. So happy when anyone from the opposition, if they choose to come on or share information with us, we're happy to have their story out there, because Ride Along Live is a platform where everyone has a story to tell. All right, we are here. Yes.
Light, global love taking flight.
I see somebody send me a message there. They say no, they won't. Nah, they will. No problem. All right, guys, listen. This week, guys. Oh, first of all, I want to big up Dowden Aviation. Dowden Aviation is doing something remarkable. Dowden Aviation, they are doing something that is truly, just amazing. So you probably seen the helicopters in the air. Yeah, the helicopters in the air. And these guys are bringing one-of-a-kind excursions and tours to Grenada. So big up Dowden Aviation. You're going to be hearing much more about it. I'm going to be doing a media fly with them in the next couple of days, so that I could experience it myself. These guys are very experienced. They do this thing in Manhattan. They do it all over the world. Dowden, who is of Grenadian parentage, he is a former police officer. He was in the military. He's a wealth of experience, and I'm happy that he decided to bring his experience and these helicopters to Grenada. We're going to be partnering with Dowden Aviation to provide transportation for all their guests to and from the heliport. So I'm happy that we got a chance with the Ride Tuk Tuks to partner with Dowden Aviation, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about how you could, for locals as well, and not just for foreigners, take a chopper ride. Also, I want to big up. Let me see if I could find this clip. People have been asking me about getting on our tuk-tuks, right? Because this is something that, in case you guys not paying attention, something that I've been working on for the past year or so, but we just really put it out there within the last couple of weeks. So people have been asking me about how they could get or book a ride with a tuk-tuk, or have a birthday party where we drive people around. It's called Night Out, Girls Night Out. This is a picture from last weekend where some of the ladies decided, 5 friends from Grenville, I gotta big them up, they decided to be a part of the Girls Night Out. So they got 2 tuk-tuks, and they were driven all over town, man. And it comes with drinks and just fun and excitement. They had such a great time, right? So big them up. These are the ladies who was riding around in the tuk-tuks on Saturday, right? So this is something, again, not only for foreigners, this is for everyone, right? If you want to book an excursion, 4 hours, you have 5-6 friends, and all you want to go bar hopping or whatever, give us a call or inbox, or go to the website. The website is ride.gd. Put that website there. That's the website. And when you book, right? If you book and you say that you heard this on Ride Along Live, yeah, for all the riders, just like that, you get a discount. Yeah? Just like that, you get a discount. So if you want to go this weekend, you have a few friends, or you want to go to the beach, or you want to go party, bar hopping, or just hanging out, get your friends together, give us a call, leave the driving to us, or you can drink all you want, because all you got to drive back, right? Or you could call the number 473-422-1011 and mention that you heard this on Ride Along Live. Very important. You have to say you heard this on Ride Along Live for that ride discount, okay? All right. So book for this weekend. In fact, you could have your event any day of the week with your friends. Get your friends together. If you're having a party, we could hook you up as well. Ride tuk-tuks.
We belong.
Experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches, but the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Today. Located inside Rider Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Yeah. Hey, big up to JetBlue, guys. If you're flying to Grenada, you got to book with JetBlue. Go to the website right now, www.jetblue.com. Book with JetBlue, and you could be in the Spice Isle in 4 hours. It's about 4 hours. JetBlue, we jetting to Grenada. And if you're coming out for Christmas, you got to book now, right? You got to book now. Book now. JetBlue. What else I got to tell you about? Now, seriously, guys, this could be you this weekend, eh? But some of all your boyfriends are going to let all you out of the house, hang out with all your girlfriends. Well, you know what? Take the man out. Say, listen, baby, me and you going out tonight, right? Me and you going out tonight. Wife take their husband out night with tuk-tuks. How about that? And order some champagne and thing and pop the champagne and take him to the beach. Well, they don't. I had to show all you how to be romantic, eh? I had to show all you everything. Don't worry, who call you up? Ride.gd. That's where you go to book everything. E-bikes, tuk-tuks, the whole nine. www.ride.gd.
Ride along life worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, hearts.
Thank you for watching Ride Along Live. Thank you for being a part of our program today. Catch you guys again tomorrow. On behalf of all of our production team here at Ride Along Live, we say good night. Lois JJ, Senior Executive Producer. Kibbs, Gail, how you doing? Catch you guys again tomorrow. Good night.
Join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride, a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong.